how hard did you push it till I black out? Yes. Numerous times, yes.
What's happening, Municipals? This is Ashton with Big C. We have a special guest tonight. We were just talking before we press record the number of times where, we have on a guest, and Chris is talking about triple diamond, extra stiff, 1 degree flat, 9 degrees of, tape on your lead tape. I don't know, and I kind of check out. But tonight we get to talk to a gentleman, Matt Holder. Matt, who kind of comes from a technology background similar to myself, a big golfer similar to myself. And so we're excited to chop it up. And he's the founder of Loop Golf, and we're going to learn a lot more about that. So Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, of course. So Matt, we were just talking a little bit. We were joking how, we started to go tell stories and I had to stop him so I could save them for the pod. But could you give us a little bit about, you, like, where do you live, where you're from, just kind of a little bit of context, people can kind of understand a little bit about you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and raised in San Francisco Bay Area. I've been, playing golf, I guess, for, I would say, like, most of my life, but in various stages. And a lot of it started when I was a kid, and I would, kind of needed something to do in the summer, and I think that probably coincided with Tiger Woods gaining popularity as well. So it was probably that Tiger surge of participation as a kid that just drew me into the game, and found my way during the summers onto some like the local kind of like pitch and putt tracks, just to do an endless amount of loops on summer days and just kill some time. And eventually I started finding myself like trying to actually like make shots and get better, and started actually caring about where the ball went, and honing my game, and did it as something that was a time filler between. I played baseball competitively growing up, so that was kind of like my primary sport. But then as I got through college and stopped playing baseball, and started getting out in the corporate world and wanted to connect with my buddies I grew up with, and we started getting together and playing a lot of golf on a regular basis, and it turned into from kind of this like way of having a side passion and something that I played during the summers, to something that kept me together with my buddies and gave us a reason to stay in touch and spend 4 hours making fun of each other and laughing and just like continuing to build our friendship over time. So that's kind of where I am now. And in between then, I've done some stuff. I've worked in tech. I've worked in sales. I've done a bunch of different things, but this latest thing is kind of a blend of all those passions into one, and so it's a double-edged sword. I'm probably playing less golf now by starting a golf business than when I wasn't in the golf business. So it's you got to pick your battles here. But I'm excited by what we're doing, and hopefully we're able to have a big impact on everybody else's life in golf.
Yeah, well, you're doing the Lord's work, because anybody who knows me, who's played golf with me, I mean, I'm the one who is yelling and kicking and screaming about pace of play, and there's not a lot you can do about it. There's so many things on a golf course that are frustrating that you can't change, and so the fact that you notice something that theoretically could be changed, that there's an opportunity. If we could just can we also start a side company for pace of play? We can take that offline, but the fact that you saw something that was broken and are trying to fix it is really cool. So could you tell the people a little bit, kind of as maybe a context starter, a little bit about Loop and what you're trying to do?
Sure, yeah. So Loop is, we're building the largest marketplace for tee times in the U.S. And to do that, what we're doing, we're taking all the data, all the tee time data from all the courses within the U.S. and aggregating into a single platform, so golfers can easily search, compare, and book tee times through our platform. And one of the most unique things that we've built that's kind of the first in its industry is we have a waitlist system that instantly books a tee time for you at the busiest courses. So there are a lot of, if you've been around golf at all and tried to book tee times, like I know you guys have, and like I did for my group, it's damn near impossible to get a tee time at some of the best courses, especially on the weekends. And so what we built is technology that lets you book way in advance or at the last minute. And while you go about your daily life or you're catching some Z's or whatever, we monitor the course 24/7 and instantly book the tee time as soon as it appears. So you can just wake up, get a notification that you got a tee time to play an awesome course that you want to play, and you go have fun. And so that's what we're all about, is like, we just want to get golfers who are passionate about the game on the courses that they want to play more often, so they can continue to enjoy the game and have it be less frustrating to actually get out there on the fairway.
Yeah, there is no feeling quite like not being able to have the time in your day and not be able to do it.
No,
Well,
and I know with courses like Karika as well, it's, really difficult to get the tee time when you're looking for it. And unless you're up at midnight, trying to get that open next 7-day out tee time that's available, having someone do it for you or an app that does it for you. I mean, everybody else has figured that out. Like sneakerheads have figured out how to get bots to get their shoes for them, and there's a million things out there for other things. Golfers haven't figured it out to snag a tee time without having to wait up at midnight and grab it when it comes 12:01.
Yeah, and there's not like, we talked about this kind of in the intro. Like, you guys are also kind of like the guy in your group that seems to be the one that wrangles everybody else to play golf, and then it's on you to find the time. And there's nothing more stressful than getting everybody to agree to a date, a time, and then you can't get a tee time at the course that you guys actually want to play, and then you gotta like share that bad news with everybody, and you've got like 4 different backups, and you're trying to solve it in real time just so you can book something and before everything disappears. And we kind of take all of that stress out of your life so you can just get on the course that you want to get on.
Yeah, I mean, there is no worse. I mean, again, I guess any golf is good golf, but to your point, I mean, like actually 4th of July, Karika, God bless them, they didn't have their holiday or weekend rates in play. So I played Karika, at 8 a.m. for $64, and I was like, yeah, like I haven't had this experience, and I couldn't tell you when, right? Because it's like Karika,
Yeah.
if you book it more than a week out, there's a $50 non-refundable fee, and then there's just no tee times, and so it's just, yeah. To your point, I mean, I saw that, I'd love for you to tell this story yourself, but your experience of Pebble, of being like, hey, this is just so easy, like. That was the first time last weekend that I had that experience, because usually, to your point, it's kicking and screaming, or it's a course where it's like, okay, like I'm okay to play, like you play Monarch Bay. Love Monarch Bay, but it's a 6-hour round, right? Metro can be great, but like, Metro's one of my favorite courses, but the conditions can be a little spotty in the fairways. Like you're always making a concession, like Presidio's great, but it's way too expensive. Like you're always making a concession. It's kind of nice if you can play the course you want to play at the time you want to play it, like, and all those pieces just come together. Like with a dinner reservation, right? It's like, we want to have pizza at 7:00. We went and had pizza at 7:00, but for golfers, we never get to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's I think we're getting a lot of really great feedback from golfers. I mean, we just launched kind of like early May, so we're very new, but already we're seeing a lot of golfers, especially like the main markets we started in LA and Denver. Seeing a lot of golfers kind of like pick us up and start booking repeatedly through us, because saying like, we've been trying for 2 years trying to figure out how to do this, and like we found you, and you guys keep pulling through for us to get us the right tee time on a weekend, and so they just come back time and time again, which is for us, like, it's awesome validation, and it not just this kind of like random idea and thought that like, am I the only one that has this problem, but clearly it's a problem across the U.S. and there hasn't been a net increase in golf courses in the U.S. for probably decades, but there's been a massive surge in golf over the past 5 years, and so it's no wonder like everybody's having a hard time trying to get on, and the technology just hasn't kept up at all with any of this. So I think we're kind of like in this perfect storm situation, which hopefully means we can help a lot of people.
I think also something that, I don't know if you guys have thought about this, but we have a group chat of probably about, I don't know, close to 40 guys, and most of them live in the Bay Area. And kind of how we go about booking tee times and playing is, one of us will just book a tee time and then throw it out there and say we have 3 spots in this group chat. I've always thought it would be super cool to have like a social media platform connected to a tee time booking app that where you could either link it to your Instagram or link it to one of your other social medias and basically send a story or a blast out, or basically allow you to load up your followers or people that you have, and it just sends it out to them in like a DM invite or something like that. It would be really awesome to be able to just book a tee time a week out and just be able to, find people that want to play without actually having to do any work.
I like it. I think we could do that. We're making new product as we speak. New feature development. We got it. I love it.
It's one thing that I've always thought about, because they, some other apps do have like invite via email. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not 65 years old.
See, we're not our dad. I'm not. No.
Yeah, I use email for work. Like, I don't even know.
You don't
most
have
of
your
my
best
friends'
friend's emails memorized?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know most of my friends'
Well,
emails.
I know, Chris. Now you'll love this. NorCalPublicGolf@gmail.com.
Oh, well,
so that's kind of hard to forget.
When you got beautiful branding like that, it's hard to forget. But I don't know emails or phone numbers for pretty much anybody in my life except maybe my wife, and that's about it. So I get it. Like all of the coordination is such a pain in the ass, and you guys know this. And I think we've got a lot of work to do to make it dead simple, because we deserve it. It's too hard to get on the course, and golf is already hard enough. So why make it so difficult to go get out there and get your buddies out there too?
Yeah, well, you were just saying Denver. I was in Denver for a wedding 2 or 3 weekends ago, and I've been dying to play Common Ground, and I was hoping I could make it work. And this exact situation, it was like I had a finite window and a finite time, and I couldn't quite plan it ahead of time. And I was like, I'm not going to bring my clubs on the assumption that I can get on one of the most popular public courses in the country. So I didn't play.
Yeah.
Just didn't play. And like, if I knew that I had, something like y'all, like Loop supported me to be like, yeah, like we're just going to 24, like at 3 a.m. someone might wake up and go to the bathroom and bail, and you can take that spot. Like, that would have been incredibly helpful. But I just was like, no, I'm not going to bring my clubs. I'll play it at some point, but that's not going to happen on this trip.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things and some of the behavior we're seeing by golfers on our site is, being able to plan like for trips. And if you're going to go play a public course as a part of your trip, like people come and play Pebble, but they're also going to play Poppy Hills or Bay End Black Horse or Pacific Grove, which are all like world-class golf courses right there that, if you're an NCGA member, you can play Poppy for $90, which is the best deal, I think, in California. But, you can't plan your trip because their booking window is too short. So if you're going to be out there 3 months from now, you can come to Loop and you can just plan it ahead right now. And then you just wait until the booking window opens and you'll get an email saying you got a tee time. So it's like a set and forget it, like secret weapon, which is what I love about it, and why I built it kind of for myself, and other people are finding it useful too. So.
Yeah, well, I love the trip idea because, I mean, one thing, Chris, he's kind of famous for is Chris has notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of like trips that he wants to take, probably trips we'll never take, but, we're actually going to do probably our first travel series later this year, beginning of next year, and we're going to go to a location we've never been to. And so, like, exactly this situation of like, yeah, we have no clue. Like, we were talking about going to Seattle or Minneapolis, or we had a couple of these places picked out. We don't know what the booking system in Minneapolis, this golf course is. And honestly, they don't either, right? They probably have no clue. So if we can kind of automate that to be like, no, we know these are the dates, but we don't know anything else. That's a great use case beyond like, can I play Baylands on Saturday? Because I'm thinking about like what's going to happen this Saturday. But if we're thinking, out in advance for a trip for that booking window, that's a great use case I didn't even think about.
Yeah, and there's some other power features in there about being able to plan a complete trip and book 4 courses and really put together the kind of course lineup that you want, and have it all kind of fit together for you. So if you're doing that like big Ryder Cup trip with 12 guys, and you can get that together and make it an unforgettable experience.
Yeah, because that's the hardest part for me is coordinating tee times, arrival of our flights, travel time between courses. It's that I'm our sole planner of all of our trips that we do. And so for me, having an app or something where I can actually just plug in the courses that I want to play, because I've already done the research. I know the exact places I want to play, and I can just plug them in and say, these are the dates we want to play, and it locates it. And then that allows me to plan everything else around the tee times that we were able to get. So it would be really easy and beneficial, and something we might have to try out on our first YouTube series trip that we do. So we might have to talk offline a little bit about that.
I'm all ears. Love to talk about it.
Yeah,
whatever we can do to help.
Matt, I'm curious, on your website, I read kind of the origin story, the Pebble Beach round. Could you tell more about that? Because I just wanted to hear that directly from you.
Oh man. So that was so I think we'll probably make the world jealous by telling this story, because during COVID was the most epic time to ever try and play Pebble or Spyglass or whatever. If you're in the know,
buddy, that's how I played Pebble for the first time. If
you're in the know and you knew about it, you had 2 years of the most epic golf you could ever play, because they're letting you play Pebble at half off, or doing both Pebble and Spy, which we did 36 in a day, which was not a great idea, but kind of worth it. And you didn't have to stay at the hotel. If you don't know, when you go play Pebble, you can only get on by staying at the hotel, which is like at least $1,000 a night, and it's a 2-night minimum. So it's like a $600 round, right? Tack on caddies if you want to have caddies and all the other stuff. Like it's $4,000 round basically, and you could get on Pebble for $300 without having to stay at the hotel. And we did this a lot, because what other time are we going to be able to get on Pebble so cheap? So the first time we went out there was with a group of buddies, and it was my first time ever playing Pebble. And let me tell you, I was having a round. Like I was playing probably to that date my all-time low round at Pebble for my first time. On number 2, I got there in 2 and birdied it. Like everything, stars were aligning, and it was kind of like I'm a baseball guy, so I was playing with some other buddies that are also baseball guys. And I was basically like the pitcher pitching a no-hitter. Like they didn't say a word to me. They were just like, leave Matt alone. Do not talk to him. And I'm just like walking in la-di-da, like, the clouds are parting. It's all rainbows. There's sun shining on me. And I'm just hitting shot after shot. And they're whispering, unbeknownst to me, just like, holy shit, Matt is having a killer round. Like, and they're cheering me on secretly until we get to 18. And my buddy says to me, like, hey, Matt, by the way, if you par out 18, you break 80 at Pebble for your first time. And I ended up double bogeying 18. I shot 82, which was just crushing. And so, to this day, I'm just like, why did you say anything? Like, you kept it bottled up all the way until 18. I can't believe it. But, I'll take an 82 at Pebble for the first time on that track. It was pretty spectacular. But certainly back to, how the inspiration for Loop is, obviously we were talking about we're the guys that arrange the rounds for our buddies. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. But you do it because you love your friends and you love the game. And you know what's going to happen. You know what will happen when you guys all get together on the course. It's just going to be a ton of fun, and you got to spend 4 hours with your buddies, nothing else going on, and you can just talk and chill and have a great time. And that's why we do it, and that's why we love being out there. That's why we love doing the work. But then when booking Pebble, it was obviously so easy because they have concierge doing it. And they're just like, well, here's the times that you can get, and they arrange everything for you, and you just show up, and it's a dialed experience. And you would expect nothing less of Pebble, but it got me thinking, like, why am I spending all this time and being stressed out trying to get me and my buddies on the courses that we want to play back home, when you could have an experience like this, and why doesn't every golfer get to experience this? Why doesn't every golfer get to experience this like dialed, set and forget it, just easy way of getting on the course so you can go have fun with your buddies? And with my tech background and being, a lot of other kind of like major marketplace businesses in tech, like it just, light bulb went off. I'm like, hey, dummy, like you obviously have the background to do something about this. Why don't you just shut up and do it? And so that's kind of like where Loop was formed. Like now let's build technology that brings that kind of Pebble-like concierge dialed experience to municipal golf courses and to golfers that frequent those public tracks, so that they can have that dialed and perfect experience in booking tee times, just like the very privileged few who get to play courses like Pebble or Bandon or any of these other resort destinations.
That's actually what I was going to say, and I'm sure Ashton was about to say that as well, is one thing Ashton has glowing reviews about how Bandon goes about, booking their things, is you literally give them the block of dates you are going, everything is taken care of. Like it, from lodging to where you should eat to getting all the tee times so you have enough time between rounds to get something to eat and get to and from each place. And I mean, it's so seamless when you book with Bandon that that alone makes you want to come back. Before you even play the courses, that alone makes you want to come back and almost book your next trip after that a couple years out. So
yeah, they do a pretty darn good job.
It's really, really good. Yeah. And I mean, that's pretty much like you said, that's what you get at any resort you go to. Any of the resorts I've experienced in Bend, down to Running Y Ranch down in Klamath Falls, like they take care of you. And I think, that's one thing that, me and Ashton being kind of, just muni public golf rats, where 98% of our golf is played on public or muni tracks. It's there's no universal way to find a tee time, and now a lot of these places have backed out of using Golf Now and Tee Off, or in any of those other platforms, because one, they're taking money out of the pocket of some of those golf courses by the way that they do their rating and their hot deals and things like that. But that it has caused issues because there's less courses on a universal site, which means that we all have to go to like 45 different golf course websites that mostly have horrible booking apps or whatever that they use that literally look like they were designed by DOS back in 86. It's just horrendous, the booking, things that are out there, and having it streamlined and also being able to basically click and say when you want to play and have it automatically booked. It's like, why is it taking this so long?
Yeah, no, we're all coming from the same place, right, as golfers, and I think that while some of these other marketplaces that have been around for a long time have had their place, like you hit on something that was really important for us to try and figure out, because an unspoken part about this journey is we also want to help golf courses thrive. I think listening to some of the episodes on your podcast, I think we share a kind of like there's a special part in our heart for a local SF community that really deserves a lot more love than it gets. And one thing that's really important for us to do is make sure that golf courses are winning too, and we're not taking out of their pocket in order to provide something that's beneficial to golfers. So we're really trying to find this like sweet spot of where we can help courses win, because our waitlist system and the way that our waitlist works is like we actually help backfill revenue for the courses too. And over 20% of tee times are canceled. And if a golf course doesn't have enough time to actually remarket that to try and get it filled, then that's lost revenue for them. So while we're making a really great experience for golfers, the other part of it and the other side of it is like we're actually helping golf courses recover thousands of dollars in revenue on a monthly basis as a part of doing that. And let's face it, like if we don't have a good place to go play golf, like we're going to play less golf. So, you got to help out both sides. You got to help golfers get on the courses they love. You have to help those courses thrive and, be better maintained and have the money to maintain it and improve it over time so that we all want to keep coming back to them. Secretly, like I wish that somewhere in the future there was a part of this where I could have like a secret slush fund. It's just like fund a renovation for Sharp Park, because I know that it would just be mind blowing. It's not quite Pasatiempo, but it's kind of like Pasatiempo without the houses. And it could very well be that with a little bit of love. So, I would love to see things like that happen and be able to have public golf kind of elevated for the golfers that frequent those courses.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm curious, Matt, I know this might be like a little in the minutia, but I'm just curious, like, how do you, because I know you're a small team, is it just like, cause I know it's you, your co-founder, maybe a couple other people, like how do you guys foster those relationships with those golf courses? Like I know you all are new, but how do you do that?
Yeah, it's an everyday thing. And, it's obviously challenging because, as Chris said, like it's a battle with some of these courses have had bad experiences with some other marketplaces from the past, and that's why they're leaving those platforms. And us coming in as kind of like the new thing, there's a lot of skepticism. So it's a battle that we have to do to, help show them that we're actively working to help both sides, both the golfer and the course, and not just one or the other. And we're trying to create this, this ecosystem that benefits the whole golf world. So it's an everyday thing, and part of it is just doing the thing and building it and showing the revenue coming in, showing that the experience is a positive one, and not only for the course and what they see in the bottom line, but they have more golfers coming in that want to play that course and, frankly, want to spend money at that course too. They're going to buy drinks, they're going to buy food. When, typically you have a golfer that traveled 100 miles to get a discount is probably showing up with their own beer and a sandwich and not spending a lot of money at the course either. So, we're trying to figure out a way that we can help get the kind of golfers that they want to build a community around playing their course more often and spending more money with them.
Yeah. And I think your point about backfilling tee times is huge. Because, I know it's funny. If I was inside of a window and I had to pay a fee, I would be angry. But simultaneously, when I drop a tee time, like there's been times where, like I remember I hurt my ankle, like legitimate reasons. But like when I call them with not enough notice, I don't love that. Like I don't feel good about having to be like, hey, I hurt my ankle, I can't make it, but the tee time's in 5 hours. Like that's probably not going to get filled. So it's a push-pull, right? Of like, no, don't charge me $30 for a cancellation or the whole rate. But like I want someone to go play at 10, 12 on Saturday when I can and not try to take that money and opportunity away from the course because they need that to do what we want them to do with the facility, right?
Right. And they don't want to take that hard line either because they're trying to build a community. They're trying to grow the community of golf, the local community of golf. And if they were hardliners about all of that, it would make it really hard to get people to come back. It would leave a sour taste in their mouth. So, we're trying to give them some of the tools that allow them to capture the kind of revenue that helps them have a healthy business without, having to draw that hard line with the customers that they really want to make, repeat customers and play their course, 20 times a year.
Yeah, and I know like one option too that would be good, that a lot of these courses that say, you have to pay half the greens fee or full greens fee if you don't cancel within 24 hours, it would be really cool to have kind of something there where it's like, hey, we still have this 24-hour cancellation policy in place, but we've got this, we work with this company called Loop where they fill our tee times, and if the tee time gets filled, then you're off the hook and you don't have to pay the thing. And that would be so much more understandable to a golfer that has to cancel last minute, where you're like, hey, I get it. I had to be the guy cancel last minute. I'm glad I have an opportunity to be able to not get charged the rate, because that was one thing we dealt with at this course called Rams Hill down in Southern California. Is I had like a dental emergency happen, and basically with a peach gummy ring popped one of my teeth out of my mouth, and so I was like not in the state to be able to go play a round of golf. So Ashton and Jack and our buddy Hussey went and checked in and told them the whole story, and they were like, "That'll be $120, please." Didn't know,
Yeah.
didn't care, could care less what was happening. They're like, "You didn't show up, you didn't give us notice, you're paying the full rate." Where like, I get it, and they called ahead and told them that, and they said that we were going to have to pay the full rate. But if we had the opportunity to try to get that slot filled, then maybe we would have been off the hook. But yeah,
Yeah.
I get it on both ends, because, when you're a golf course in the middle of nowhere and it takes 2 hours for anybody to drive there, and somebody cancels 3 hours before the round, you're out $110. And if 3 or 4 groups do that throughout the day, I mean, you're losing
It
$1,000
hurts.
in revenue. So I
Yeah.
totally understand that, but it's a tough scene on the golfer, especially when it's just you're incapable of making it.
Yep. Totally.
And Matt, I'm curious, because obviously people will figure this out as they go to the website, but do you want to talk a little bit about what kind of golfers can expect? Because I mean, I know when I went on, I was like, oh, there's an app, and then there was a website. So like, if I'm someone who's like listening to this podcast and wants to give it a try, could you talk a little about kind of like this is sort of my tech term, kind of the customer journey, right? If you're like,
Sure.
if you're down, like, do I download the app to go to the website? Where would you kind of direct people to kind of see the different offerings that you guys have and kind of explain that to them and what they can find there?
Sure. So you can go to loopgolf.co. And from our homepage, you can either search for a course by course name, or you can search a location by city state. And that'll take you to a page that shows all the courses that we cover currently in that location, either by within 25 miles or 50 or 100 miles, and available tee times at those courses. We also have banners that show up on that page to join the wait list. So if you don't find a time that you want at that course, or on the date that you want to play, then you can use our wait list and set your preferences by choosing the date, the number of players, the time window you want to play, and then you set it up with us, and then we search the course to find you the right tee time and book it for you. So we kind of give you all the options. We're live at about 400 courses right now as it stands today. So we're not everywhere yet, but we're actively working on that to try and get every major metro covered pretty soon. So if you don't see the course that you want, shoot us a note. You can email us at caddyshack@loopgolf.co and tell us what course you want to have covered, and we'll look into it and try to get it up for you so we can get you booking through us.
So guys, if you've got your home course, anybody listening, go to your pro shop. If you want to use this app and you want it to be easier to book tee time, tell them to contact them and get their course added to the repertoire, because the app seems like it's going to be a incredibly good way for anybody to be able to book through, and it looks like it streamlines a lot of things from what me and Ashton did on our research side. So one thing I did want to ask you, Matt, is what areas do you think you're probably most saturated in right now?
I would say we're probably most saturated in more of the West Coast. So San Francisco Bay Area, LA, Denver, Phoenix, Scottsdale, and Vegas. I think we're like, we don't have 100% coverage in any of these markets. So we don't have every course covered, but we've got a decent chunk in each of those markets. And I think within the next couple of weeks, we'll have a lot more. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to try and spread a lot, grow a lot more density in the kind of the East Coast and kind of northern states, hopefully before winter closes in on them. But we're adding new courses every day.
Love it. And Matt, I'm curious, maybe a good way to kind of take us out. So we talked about Bandon, we've talked about Pebble Beach. So what for you is sort of your next, you could use Loop to do this, right? What is kind of your next golf trip that you've been craving? On last week's pod, I mean, this was bigger stuff. I was talking about Tasmania and stuff like that, but Chris was talking about some courses in the Northwest. But what's kind of your next golf trip, maybe domestically or internationally, that you're kind of itching to do?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. I might be too boring, but honestly, like we've got some pretty great golf in California. I think that in terms of trips, I would love to go to maybe like Sea Island or somewhere in the East Coast, like in the Carolinas. Maybe like Pinehurst would be, I think, a good one. My buddy goes out there and takes his kids out there there's kind of like a week where you can get lessons with your kids, and it's a family week, but then you can play the courses there, which I think would be pretty awesome, because I got a 7 and 8 year old that I took out to. So I was in Pebble Beach this weekend for the U.S. Women's Open. I had my kids out there, and my daughter just we got signatures from Rose Zhang and just kind of like all the players, and it was just like really cute. Big core memory moment for them. So, I think that, getting them out there would be probably pretty great to do.
Yeah, I was there too. That's where I got this sunburn. I planned for it to be cold, like Monterey usually is, and I brought a hoodie and started taking things off and forgot to put sunscreen on this part of my head. And so that's what you're seeing. You left with some memories, and I left with a big old sunburn across my forehead.
We might have crossed paths and didn't even know it. We were there on Wednesday and on Sunday. So.
Oh yeah, I was there on Saturday, but yeah, it was really special. I mean, I think that it's really weird for me, just because I was telling Chris before we got on, Pebble's a place that I've seen so much in my lifetime, and yet a place I've never played or even walked. I've only ever eaten. I've had lunch around the 18th green, but yeah, I mean, it's a place that I think the Andy Johnson of the Fried Egg says, like, it's a place that shouldn't exist, and it's incredible. Think about all these places, right? Like Bandon, Pebble, and to your point, one of the mantras of kind of our podcast is it's about the golf, but it's not about the golf. And what really resonates what you were saying about us as kind of the planners is, well, first of all, as we're getting older, you realize that if you don't block time off, it's just not going to happen. Like, if somebody doesn't take the bull, but like, if you don't just make a Bandon trip 18 months from now, or just do it, you're never going to do it. And then that's really sad, right? But for us on this call and many other people, golf is our vehicle to do that, right? Like how we spend 4 or 5 hours, like Chris, like in the span of our lives, I don't know Chris for very long, but the reason we do this and built this bond is over a very short amount of time, we spent 4, 5, 6 hours in the same place at the same time telling stories. And yeah, I think Pebble, it was great to see, but it's kind of a great way to bring it all the way back around. Because I mean, that experience you had at Pebble and the community, it's like, the fact that y'all are working to make it just easier for us to have this community is really cool, and something that we've never used it before, but we're super excited to give it a try and report back. But anything to make our lives easier about making tee times and being out there, we're all about it. Again, now if we can just figure out slow play, but I don't think we can automate that, unfortunately.
At some point, I've got thoughts, but future thing, for sure. We
just got to my thing is we just got to go the baseball route. You already said you're a baseball guy. Literally, like when someone starts to play, just hold up a 40-second timer. If it goes off, the shot penalty. It's really simple, right? Like if you have a shot penalty, just get him out of here. Like Patrick Cantlay is taking 6 minutes over the ball. It's a shot every minute. Just get him out of here. Like he's going to pick up the pace, right? I mean, you're a baseball guy. What's happened in baseball this year is amazing. I was skeptical. I wasn't sure about it. Like being on the West Coast, I'm a big Braves fan. The Braves games are over before I'm done with work. Like I'm like, this is insane. And no, I don't wish baseball games were slower, but there was a Braves game last week that was an hour and 57 minutes. Like, that was, when I was a kid, that was the Greg Maddux pitching. Now we're back to that, and like, golf needs to get, again, that's a separate discussion, but if we can do that, kind of get it moving a little bit, where if you go play with your friends, you come home to your 7 or 8 year old in 3.5 instead of 5.5 hours, it'd be better for everybody.
There's I don't know. There's a something in the live golf format that a couple of tweaks here and there, and they've got something potentially compelling from that standpoint. If you guys have ever watched, like, so I watched the NCAA like championships, and if you guys have ever watched them play, they always play like Greyhawk in Scottsdale. If you ever watch that format, it's actually pretty exciting because they play individually, but as a team for the first couple of days. And then they set a cut, and then each team has like 5 players, and as a team, whatever they cumulatively score with each individual player score, that determines the teams that move on, and then they play match play from there on out.
Yeah.
And I think like if Live Golf did something like that, where they did weekend, where there was like, as a team, you get into the cut, you get into the weekend, and then it's match play, and it's kind of like a mixture between PGA and Ryder Cup. It could be pretty darn exciting. And then there's like a real penalty for teams who can't consistently get to the weekend. And all of a sudden it becomes very competitive golf, and probably more exciting to watch too, because in match play, people try to make shots. They're not trying to make a score. They're trying to make shots on every hole. So that makes it really, really exciting.
Yeah, we're big proponents of match play. We have a Ryder Cup style match play tournament we've done the last couple of years, but yeah, it's like what David McClay kid says so often about, like, when he built Bandit. It's like, he's like, we play for a score 2 or 3 times a month to make sure our handicap's right, and then we go play like a sport, right? It's a sport, right? It's kind of like watching the Women's Open, right? It's like what Charlie Hull was doing. Like, I love Charlie Hull in 18. She's not thinking, even though, like, by protecting the score, she could, guaranteed her $1 million. She's, lashing a 3-wood under the tree, being like, no, we're going to go get this. We're going to go get this. And that's the match play idea of, like, risk reward. Like, risk, let's go. This is a sport,
It makes it more exciting, and that's what people want to watch.
Yeah.
They come for the drama.
Yeah, 100%. Big, anything else before we get Matt out of here?
No, I just appreciate you coming on, Matt. We're excited to test out Loop. I'm definitely going to be testing it out for our next trip. We're planning something for Ashton to come up this way, so maybe you'll have something in Seattle by the time Ashton makes it up here and we do our trip up to Seattle. So
yeah, send me the courses that you're looking at, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah,
there you go. And
then at some point, if you ever come down here, you're gonna have to help me out on sizing me up for some clubs.
We got Jack that's at Club Champion down in San Carlos, so we'll have to send you over.
I'm
to
right
Jack
there.
So he can lace you up.
He's gonna freak out when he sees my 30-year-old Mizunos in my bag.
Well, I was gonna say, but before we let you go, you were teasing. You're calling yourself names about equipment. You got to tell the story. Like what's the deal with you and equipment? I thought you were gonna say you play all hybrids or something. Like you have like hybrid wedges or something.
It's not that crazy. No, like I play kind of like too traditional of a bag, I would say. But all my clubs are like, I play with like 30-year-old Mizuno irons that I bought secondhand online. I don't even know their loft or lie. I just had them reshafted, and that's what I play with. All from 3-iron all the way to pitching wedge.
Hell yeah!
Then, I think all my clubs are secondhand, to be honest. Like I just go buy secondhand clubs because whatever, they're pretty much brand new anyway. So I'm a wheeler and dealer, but I've got a mixed bag. I've got Callaway woods. I've got Mizuno irons. I've got Callaway and Vokey wedges. So it's just kind of like all over the place. But I make it work.
Yeah,
I can still score.
You're about to break 80 at Pebble. There you go with a mishmash. I love it. Hey, you know what that is?
got
I
it.
will say that promotes. It's like we always say, it's golf, not golf swing, right? It's like, yeah, the number says 7 iron, but I know what it does, and I can make it work.
Like they're all muscle backs, by the way, too. So I play blades, which I probably shouldn't do. But I basically have just like convinced myself that if there's any opportunity in my life where I'm going to play blades, it's right now. So I might as well do it because I can play cavity backs for the rest of my life whenever I want. And when you hit it right, it's just perfect. It just feels so good. You're so satisfied with yourself. But
Yeah.
I've got plenty of demons especially being an ex-baseball player. I've got plenty of swing demons to figure out usually. But
Baseball grip, hand a little under the club. I bet.
my natural shot shape is a draw.
I was about to say every
I was gonna say, baseball
player
players,
I've
it's
ever
always
met
a
in my
draw.
life is a draw player because you guys are strong top hands.
Yeah, and if I get stuck inside, like I'm gonna just kind of it's just gonna be a pull draw that goes into the shit, and it's a guaranteed double bogey. But like my takeaway is the hard part. Like I know like if I get short and shallow in my takeaway, like I'm totally screwed. Um, but yeah, I mean like. But I love playing the Mizunos. I've got a set of Callaway Apex muscle backs too that I play sometimes. That they both feel great when you hit them. But my other buddies are just like, "What are you doing? What are you
That's
thinking?"
what's going through my head right now. But I wasn't gonna say that. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I could get you 8 strokes off of your game by getting you in a better set of clubs. I promise you that.
I mean, I'm a 6 to 7
strokes.
handicap, so that would be fantastic.
Dude, if he's playing 30-year-old irons in a mixed match bag, I'm 100% sure I could shave that many strokes.
Well, he's gonna be like, I came on this stupid podcast, and 6 months later I'm a +1 thanks to Big Chris. Like that's, I think, like that's
Honestly,
a big shoes to fill.
Honestly, this sounds like a recurring episode where we should take this on, and we'll see if that holds true. I'm willing to go in. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
What do I need? What do you want me to do?
I'm putting a lot of faith in Jack, so Jack, if you listen to this, you better fit the shit out of him.
Jack is right by my home sporting goods store, Getz Brothers, right there off the Industrial Road in San Carlos. I know exactly where that club champion is. Jack, I'm coming for you, buddy. Let's go. I gotta.
There we go.
I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna go tell my wife that we're about to spend a couple $1,000s on golf clubs. She'll love it.
You might want to triple that.
Oh boy.
It's a tax write-off, right? It's golf related.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Just put it on loop.
Yeah. I had to do some research. I had to get better.
Play courses. I can't play courses without a good set of clubs. So
100%.
You guys got to stop because you're uncovering the real reason I started golf business is for the write-off. Just equipment write-offs. I can write off my rounds. It's just that's
why
the secret.
I fit clubs.
I have a problem. I have a problem.
We do too. That's why we're all here on a Monday night discussing about how we can't get tee times. But Matt, we'll get you back. We'll get you out of here, Matt. But it was great to have you on, and hopefully sometime soon. I'm up in the city, and maybe we can play some golf together soon. And again, I can't wait to give Loop a try. I mean, I'm already thinking Carica South. I think I'm gonna have a lot more Carica South in my future. I think now with using Loop.
Yeah. What did I do? I just played that a couple weeks ago, and I played Presidio last week, something like that. So. I'm around. Let's go.
Amazing.
I'm in.
Okay. Beautiful. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thanks for having me on, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Take care, my man.